Hello. What's your name?
Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. What is your husband's name?
His name is Jacob.
Jacob. How did you know Jacob was the one for you?
I knew Jacob was the one for me after a few different dates we went on, and I was intrigued. He was very different than me, and he was raised very differently than me, and it wasn't like a love at first sight type of thing, but we met during COVID, and there was a lot of time that we could have been spending apart, but instead we spent it together, and after a bunch of dates, it just kind of felt natural, and I wanted to be with him more than I wanted to be without him. So that's how I knew it was over time, not one specific moment.
No, I love that. And I think that's very fair. A lot of people here have actually said, you know, I feel a responsibility to issue a warning to say, like, it's not always love at first sight. Actually, almost always it's not. It takes time to build that connection. But I love how real you are about it. And I really like the fact that you like that he's different than you. Would you say that maybe a little bit of that is like he compliments you in some ways?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I agree with all of those people. I think a lot of people our age especially feel like, oh, I have to have this instant connection. So I'm glad I'm not the only one. But yeah, I think where I'm not confident, he's very confident. Where I'm more outgoing, he's a little more quiet. So I do think it's a good thing for us that we're very different.
That seems sweet.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the meet cute? You said you met during COVID, before COVID?
We met during COVID. So the funny story is I had a very close friend from college. I still do. And her name is Tamara. And December of COVID, so like 9-ish months into COVID happening, I was sitting in my apartment. I lived in a studio alone, and I was just feeling like it was around the holidays, and I was feeling a little bit lonely. I had gone through a breakup a year before. And my very close friend Tamara said to me, well, my good friend from growing up, Danielle, who I knew because she coincidentally lived in the same neighborhood I did growing up, Danielle has a couple of neighbors that live across the hall from her on the Upper West Side, and they've been hanging out really closely in a COVID bubble, and I know that one of them is single. Do you want me to see if Danielle wants to pass along your number? And I had nothing to lose, so I was like, sure. I knew nothing about Jacob at the time. I just knew he was a neighbor of my friend Danielle. And so we texted for about a week after Danielle gave him my number. I know you do too, but he had an Android. So I was a little bit judgmental because the text came through green.
I was going to say that's a green flag, and here you are thinking it's a red.
I don't personally care about all that stuff, but all of my friends were like, oh my God, he has green texts. And I'm sure you get the commentary too a lot.
The judgment is real. People need to do better.
So we texted for a little bit, and then we went on our first date. It was that weird COVID time where you couldn't go inside at restaurants, so you had to sit outside, but it was now January, and it was like 20 degrees every night. And Jacob, unbeknownst to me, put in a ton of work to find a restaurant that had like outdoor sheds that were closed, so it would be warm enough for us to talk. It was a little awkward because you had to, also at the time it was a law, you had to order food with drinks. So we were like, we didn't really know if like we should eat before, but it was one of those like awkward first date things. But we had a really great time on the first date. Again, there was no moment, but I was like intrigued enough to know that I wanted to see him again. He grew up in New York City and I grew up in South Florida. So just like that alone, I was like, you grew up in New York City? Like that's so foreign to me at the time. Like that doesn't happen where I'm from. So, and then after that, after our first date, we saw each other a few more times, and then he was supposed to go on a family trip to Hawaii, and I was supposed to go visit my family in Florida, and for his trip to Hawaii got canceled, and my trip to Florida got canceled because my parents had COVID at the time, and so we were like, well, maybe this is meant to be, and he was very confident telling me that he wanted to see me again, and I thought that was very attractive, and so the rest is history, I guess, as they say.
I love that, and that's so sweet about like the effort he made from the beginning for that first date. Go to Jacob. I think that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And everything else, it kind of seems like maybe cheesy to say, but like it was meant to be. Like everything just aligned. Like both the trips got canceled. Like what are the chances on both sides and everything else? That's very sweet.
Yeah.
How long have you been together now? It's been a couple of years, right?
Yeah, it's almost 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
How do you celebrate your anniversary? Do you have a tradition where you do the same thing every year, or is it different every year?
It's different every year. On our first anniversary, we went back to that restaurant and ate inside this time. But this coming up will be, we just got married this past year. So this year coming up will be our first anniversary where we're married and we're going to go celebrate at the place we got married in South Florida. So
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you so
sweet.
much.
Last question for you today, Rachel. Do you have a song that reminds you of Jacob? It could be your wedding song or any song in general. When you hear of it, you think of him.
He would love for me to say any Frank Ocean song because he's a diehard Frank Ocean fan. But I'm actually going to say the Law and Order SVU theme song because we are obsessed in our house with Law and Order. Okay. So whenever I hear that, I think of like us watching TV together.
Like the beginning, like dun dun.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you so much for sharing today, Rachel.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
to chat with you.
Learned it all in the painful way, in that I learned all these mistakes.
Oh my God, I can't see him.
It's okay. I think he's trying to be in the back of the video. He's getting cut. It's more like I like engaging back and forth. Hello.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Hi.
I see you guys are going ahead and build some.
Sorry, do you want?
That would have to go ahead and be on the sidewalk. It can't be within building property.
Oh.
Because you would need a permit for that. So if you want to do it on the sidewalk, that's
Like
fine.
a few feet over.
Yeah, so this is the limiting factor over here.
This
This is
one,
the
okay.
building property. That's a sidewalk. So as long as you're on the sidewalk, you're good.
I just didn't want to be in people's way, so I hid behind the sign. We'll only be 4